Winter sowing is budget-friendly and eco-friendly. Repurpose household items like milk jugs and soda bottles. These make perfect greenhouses for your seeds. Winter sowing harnesses natural elements. Seeds experience freezing and thawing cycles. This stratification jumpstarts germination. Winter-sown seedlings are stronger and resilient. Ready to embrace the chill and save some bills? Let's get started with winter sowing. Let's talk about stratification. It's a natural process essential for many seeds to germinate. Seeds need cold, moist conditions, mimicking winter. This prevents premature germination. Winter sowing provides these conditions. Natural freezing and thawing cycles do the job. This leads to higher germination rates, resulting in stronger, healthier seedlings. Now that we're all excited about winter sowing, let's talk containers. Milk jugs, soda bottles, clamshells, and even rotisserie chicken containers can be mini greenhouses. Think outside the traditional seed tray and unleash your inner upcycler. While the beauty of winter sowing lies in its simplicity, there are a few key features to keep in mind when selecting your containers to ensure optimal germination and healthy seedling growth. First and foremost, we need to ensure proper drainage. Just like with any planting, we want to avoid soggy soil, which can lead to root rot and other issues. Make sure your chosen containers have adequate drainage holes at the bottom to allow excess water to escape. Next, consider the depth of the container. While shallow containers work well for some seeds, others, like those of larger vegetables or perennials, require more depth for their root systems to develop properly. Aim for containers that are at least 4 to 6 inches deep to accommodate those deeper-rooted plants. Clarity is another crucial aspect. We want our seeds to receive plenty of sunlight to fuel their growth, so opt for containers that are clear or semi-clear. Avoid containers that are opaque or heavily tinted, as these will block too much light. Let's transform our recycled containers into mini greenhouse. Roll up your sleeves and prep them. Use a drill, knife or nail. Aim for 6 to 8 holes. Add side holes for extra drainage. These promote airflow and regulate moisture. Milk jugs are a winter sowing staple for a reason. Their opaque sides help to moderate temperature fluctuations, while their spacious interiors provide ample room for seeds to sprout and grow. Let's transform these everyday cartons into thriving mini greenhouses. Start by rinsing out your milk jug thoroughly to remove any milk residue. Then, using a sharp utility knife or a pair of sturdy scissors, carefully cut around the milk jug, leaving about 2 to 3 inches from the base intact. This will create a hinged lid that can be easily opened and closed. Next, create your drainage holes. As we discussed earlier, aim for 6 to 8 holes evenly spaced around the bottom of the jug. You can use a drill, a utility knife, or even a heated screwdriver for this step. To create ventilation slits, use your utility knife or scissors to make small, evenly spaced cuts along the top edge of the milk jug and along the sides of the hinged lid. These slits will allow for airflow while still providing protection from the elements. Soda bottle greenhouses, small wonders for seed starting. Don't underestimate the power of a humble soda bottle. These containers make fantastic mini greenhouses for starting seeds. The beauty of soda bottles lies in their versatility. You can cut them in half to create mini cloche-like structures or fashion them into miniature greenhouses with hinged lids. This creates a humid environment for your seeds. Ventilation is key, letting your seedlings breathe. As your seeds germinate and your seedlings begin to grow, providing adequate ventilation becomes increasingly important. Just like us, plants need fresh air to thrive. Proper ventilation helps to regulate temperature and humidity levels within your mini greenhouses, preventing the buildup of excess moisture that can lead to mold, mildew, and other issues. Once your seeds have germinated and you start to see those first tiny seedlings emerge, it's a good idea to prop open the lids of your containers slightly during the day. You can use a small stick, a clothespin, or even a rock to create a small gap for air to circulate. As temperatures begin to warm up in late winter and early spring, you can gradually increase the amount of ventilation by opening the lids wider or removing them altogether for short periods during the day. This process, known as hardening off, helps to acclimate your seedlings to outdoor conditions before you transplant them into the garden. Choosing the right foundation. Let's talk about the foundation of winter sowing, the soil. Potting soil is essential for providing nutrients and support. Potting soil is the clear winner for winter sowing. It retains moisture better than seed starting mix. Seed starting mix dries out quickly. Potting soil provides the right balance for healthy growth. Prepare your potting soil for winter sowing containers. Achieve the perfect moisture level, not too wet, not too dry. Pour soil into a large bucket, gradually add water, mixing thoroughly. Moisten evenly, avoiding dry pockets. Squeeze a handful of soil. If water drips out, it's too wet. Add dry soil to absorb moisture. If it crumbles, it's too dry. Add water and mix. Aim for a damp sponge consistency. It should hold shape without crumbling. Feel damp, not soggy. With our containers prepped and our soil perfectly moistened, it's time for the exciting part, choosing what to sow. While winter sowing is a remarkably versatile method, it's important to select seeds that are well suited to this cold-loving technique. The key is to look for seeds that are labeled as cold hardy or winter sowing. These seeds have evolved to thrive in regions with cold winters, and they actually benefit from the natural stratification process that winter sowing provides. Cold hardy seeds come in a wide range of varieties, from vibrant flowers to delicious vegetables and herbs. So, whether you're looking to create a stunning floral display or stock your pantry with homegrown goodness, there's a cold hardy seed out there just waiting to be sown. Let's start with the showstoppers of the garden flowers. Many beautiful flowers thrive in winter, rewarding your patience with vibrant blooms. Black-eyed Susans are a classic choice for winter sowing. These cheerful yellow flowers are easy to grow from seed. Coneflowers attract pollinators like bees and butterflies. These daisy-like flowers come in a range of colours. Poppies add a touch of whimsy to any garden. These ephemeral blooms come in a rainbow of colours. Lupines produce tall spires of colourful flowers. These stately plants come in a wide range of colours. Winter sowing isn't just for flowers. It's a fantastic way to get a head start on your vegetable and herb garden. Cold, hardy vegetables thrive when sown in winter, rewarding you with fresh, flavourful produce. Leafy greens like kale and spinach are winter sowing superstars. Try sowing lettuce for salads bursting with flavour. Broccoli and cabbage are excellent candidates for winter sowing. Don't forget about herbs like parsley, thyme and chives. These easy-to-grow herbs are a welcome addition to any garden. All right, we've got our containers prepped, our soil moistened, and our seeds selected. Now, let's talk about planting depth. Planting depth impacts germination and seedling health. Too deep, seeds may not reach the surface. Too shallow, roots might dry out. Use the seed packet as your guide. It provides the recommended planting depth for each seed. Consult it for successful winter sowing. While the seed packet is our go-to guide for planting depth, there are a few general rules of thumb to keep in mind, especially when it comes to those tiny, delicate seeds that seem to disappear into thin air. As a general rule, aim to plant seeds at a depth that is twice their size. For larger seeds like beans or squash, this might mean planting them an inch or two deep. But what about those minuscule seeds that resemble specks of dust? For tiny seeds like lettuce, petunias, or snapdragons, traditional planting depths don't quite apply. Sprinkle these tiny seeds sparingly over the surface of your moistened soil, taking care not to overcrowd them. Then, using your fingertips or the back of a spoon, gently press the seeds into the soil surface, ensuring good contact but avoiding burying them too deep. As you dive headfirst into the world of winter sowing, you'll quickly find yourself surrounded by a sea of containers, each one holding the promise of future blooms and harvests. But amidst all the excitement, it's easy to forget a crucial step: labeling. Trust me, you don't want to be caught in the spring sunshine surrounded by a chorus of sprouting seedlings with no clue who's who. Labeling your containers might seem like a small detail, but it makes a world of difference when it comes to keeping track of your plantings, especially as your winter sowing collection grows. A simple label, clearly marked with the plant name and sowing date, can save you a world of confusion and ensure that your seedlings get the care they need at the right time. Let's talk about making labels last. Winter can be harsh on labels. We need durable labels. Labels that resist sunlight and rain. Create weatherproof labels. Use a permanent marker. Choose outdoor markers. Rough up the surface. This helps ink adhere. For clear containers, use tape. Write on masking tape. These tapes are water resistant. We've prepped our containers and chosen our seeds. Now, it's time to find the perfect spot. Choose a sunny, sheltered location with at least 4 to 6 hours of sunlight. A south-facing spot is ideal. Think of it like finding the perfect spot for a sunbathing cat. As any gardener knows, we're not the only ones who appreciate a good seed or a tender seedling. Squirrels, chipmunks, birds, and even the occasional curious cat might see our winter sowing containers as an all-you-can-eat buffet. But fear not, there are several strategies we can employ to outsmart these critters and protect our winter-sown treasures. One of the most effective methods is to create a physical barrier around our containers. Chicken wire or hardware cloth, readily available at most garden centers, can be easily fashioned into protective cages or covers. Simply cut the wire to size and secure it around your containers, ensuring that there are no gaps or openings for those persistent critters to squeeze through. If you're dealing with particularly determined diggers, consider elevating your containers off the ground. Placing them on a raised platform bench or even a stack of bricks can deter those ground-dwelling critters from reaching our precious seeds. Just make sure that the platform is sturdy and secure to prevent any accidental topples. For smaller critters like mice or voles, you can add a layer of protection by lining the bottom of your containers with hardware cloth before adding your soil. This will prevent them from tunneling up from below and making a meal of your seeds. And remember, vigilance is key. Now that our winter sowing containers are nestled in their prime locations, let's talk about everyone's favorite gardening topic: watering. But here's the thing about winter sowing. It's a bit of a waiting game, and that includes watering. We're not aiming for lush, consistently moist soil like we would with established plants. Instead, we're looking for a balance between providing enough moisture for germination and avoiding the perils of overwatering. Luckily, our winter sowing containers come with a built-in moisture gauge condensation. That's right, those tiny droplets of water clinging to the inside walls of our containers are actually a good sign. They indicate that there's enough moisture inside to keep the soil slightly damp without being soggy. So, if you see condensation, resist the urge to water. Your seeds are happily hydrated for the time being. But what if you don't see any condensation? Don't panic. This doesn't necessarily mean your soil is bone dry. Gently press your finger into the soil surface. If it feels dry to the touch, it's time for a gentle misting. Overwatering is a common pitfall in the gardening world. Winter sowing is no exception. Seeds need moisture to germinate, but too much water can be detrimental. Soggy soil suffocates seeds and invites diseases. Observe and use a light touch. Check for condensation and test soil moisture. Err on the side of caution. Opt for gentle misting. Aim for slightly damp, not soaking wet. Your seeds will thank you. Safe and ensure a bountiful harvest. Create a physical barrier around your containers to deter critters. Think of it as building a mini fortress for our tender greens. Chicken wire or hardware cloth from garden centres work well. Cut the wire to size and fashion it into a cage. Ensure there are no gaps for critters to squeeze through. Secure the edges with zip ties or clothespins. Elevate containers off the ground for added protection. Use a raised platform, bench or bricks to deter diggers. While winter sowing is a relatively low-maintenance method of starting seeds, it doesn't mean we can simply sow our seeds and forget about them until spring. Regular check-ins throughout the winter months are essential to ensure our seedlings are thriving and to address any potential issues before they become major setbacks. Think of it like checking in on a sleeping baby. We're not there to wake them up or disturb their slumber, but to ensure their environment is safe, comfortable, and conducive to healthy growth. Just like a parent's watchful eye, our regular check-ins will help us catch any potential problems early on, allowing us to make necessary adjustments and keep our seedlings on track for a successful spring debut. So bundle up, grab your gardening gloves, and let's head out to check on our winter sowing containers. The good news is that these check-ins don't have to be long or complicated. A quick peek once a week is usually sufficient, especially during the colder months when seedling growth is slower. As the days lengthen and temperatures rise, you'll notice a surge of growth within your winter sowing containers. What were once tiny sprouts have transformed into a vibrant jungle of green, all vying for space and resources. This burst of growth signals the need for thinning. Thinning allows us to select the strongest seedlings. By removing the weaker ones, we give the stronger ones room to grow. No, you do not have to harden off plants that were winter sown. Winter sowing naturally exposes seedlings to outdoor conditions from the start, meaning they gradually adapt to temperature fluctuations, wind and sunlight. This process eliminates the need for hardening off like you would with indoor started seedlings. However, when transplanting your winter sown seedlings into the garden, wait until after the last frost for tender plants or when conditions are suitable. Gradually expose seedlings to full sun if they were in a shady area to prevent sun shock. Water well after transplanting to help them establish. If you're winter sowing perennials or cold hardy annuals, they will be even tougher and ready to thrive without extra steps. Subscribe to our channel for more gardening tips and tricks.